Hello everyone, welcome to our video regarding the safety in the outdoors. Today we are going to show you some examples of what can happen during your hike and how you should deal with it. Charlie here will take us along on her trip and teach us a thing or two. Before Charlie leaves, she checks her to-do list. This includes checking the weather, dressing accordingly, and packing her backpack. So Charlie's bringing along some water and snacks in order to stay hydrated, some sunscreen and a hat in order to protect from the sun, layers and a raincoat in order to stay safe from the weather, because you can never know what's going to happen, some navigation tools, insect repellent, and of course a first aid kit. You can differentiate between a personal or basic first aid kit and one made for the wilderness. In a basic one, you should find items which are showed on the list here. They include some things like plasters, bandages, wound dressing, cleansing wipes, scissors, forceps, and the same should be found in a wilderness kit, but it has some items specifically made for the treatment of injuries or animal bites which can happen in the outdoors. But for more information, you can always check the Australian Red Cross, the CFS, and national park alerts on NSW national parks. But everything seems to be fine, so Charlie can finally leave the house with the friend she brought along, and bringing a friend is always a good idea, especially if you're a beginner, since if you get injured or something happens, you can always take care of each other. So it seems Charlie has been bitten by a snake, but luckily she brought a friend along who can now take care of her. But while Charlie's friend is applying first aid, we can talk about the different types of animals you can encounter in the Australian wilderness. The most important ones are snakes and spiders. They seem to pose the biggest threat while hiking outdoors. So if you are bitten by a snake like Charlie, you should first apply some bandages on the bite itself and then a second one across the whole limb in combination with a splint to keep the person from moving the limb too much. And of course, try to keep calm during all of this and call an ambulance, which is the number 000, to take you to the nearest hospital. And if possible, try to identify the snake based on its color or the poison around the wound, which is why you shouldn't wash the wound, since this can help with the treatment of the poison. But if the person collapses during all of this, immediately perform CPR and call an ambulance. Spider bites are generally not as poisonous as snake bites, but you should still watch out for them anyways, as they can pose a health risk. If bitten by a spider, you should first wash the wound and apply some antiseptic found in your first aid kit, and then similar to a snake bite, apply some bandages, one on the wound and one on the whole limb, as well as a splint. And again, try to keep calm during all of this and call the Poisons Information Center to give you instructions and find out what your next move should look like. And again, spider poison should normally not be as dangerous as snake poison, but in case you are unsure, you should always call an ambulance, because it's always better to be safe than sorry. The two main spiders you should always watch out for are the red-back spider, as you can see here, and the funnel web spider. The funnel web spider especially is really dangerous, and its poison can pose some serious health risks. But apparently Charlie was only bitten by a non-poisonous snake, as they were able to identify it, so luckily they can still keep going. But now it seems like Charlie's weather app didn't show the correct information and a thunderstorm is forming. So of course Charlie and a friend put on their raincoats they have packed before and seek out a shelter, which in this case is a small hut. So now that I have arrived in a shelter, we can talk about what exactly you should do during a thunderstorm. Well, first of all, you should get off any exposed locations, such as ridges, but you should also not stay inside any gorges or river valleys, as they can quickly flood or fill up with water and cut off any escape options. Of course, you should also get away from isolated trees, and avoid being the highest point within your surroundings, as lightning likes to strike those points first. Also, keep away from big or damaged trees, as they can pose a threat since the branches can fall off during a thunderstorm and hit you. So, if you can, try to seek a hardtop shelter, such as a car or a building, to wait out the thunderstorm. So now that it has finally stopped raining, they can finally move on, but now it seems like there is a bushfire going on ahead. So what do? Charlie's friend checks the wind direction and they both decide to move towards the wind. And of course, they both find a natural fire break, which should keep the fire away from them, but of course you should always call 000 in a situation like this to await further instructions.
Charlie and their friend have safely evacuated the site. But Charlie is acting a bit strange. They're very thirsty, dizzy, and feverish. Charlie's friend recognizes this as dehydration. Charlie's friend has Charlie sit down. She pours rehydration powder into some water and gives it to Charlie to drink. It is important to recognize the signs and symptoms of dehydration and what to do when you are feeling these or notice them in another person. Thankfully, Charlie's symptoms were mild and improved with the rehydration powder. If Charlie's symptoms did not improve with time, or if Charlie's friend had noticed signs of shock, fast breathing or heart rate, or an altered mental state, Charlie would have had to go to the hospital. To avoid dehydration, Charlie should have been properly hydrating days before this adventure and drinking enough water as the day had gone on. More information can be found on the Red Cross website. Charlie's had a long day and wants to decompress by the beach. On the walk there, Charlie and their friend come across a cliff. It would be a really nice view of the ocean, but Charlie knows to read the signage and keep their distance. It is important to keep distance from cliffs, stick to established tracks, and follow posted signage in order to stay safe. It is not guaranteed that the edge of a cliff is stable. Charlie and their friend have made it to the beach and can finally relax. Both of them are good swimmers, but it is important to know your swimming ability before deciding to get in the water. If in doubt, don't go out. Charlie knows the safest place to swim at the beach is in between the flags, but if they're unsure, they can ask a lifeguard. Charlie also ensures they will be safe in the water by checking the Beach Safe app, never swimming alone, following posted signage, and bringing the proper items and clothing for the beach. Even though Charlie is a good swimmer, they still need to watch out for rip currents by looking for dark water, gaps in the waves, seaweed and sand, and rippling on the surface. If Charlie found themselves in a rip current, they would stay calm and swim parallel to shore. If they were unable to get out or needed assistance, they would raise their hand in a closed fist to request help from a lifeguard. The ocean contains many animals that Charlie needs to look out for. Common ones include jellyfish and stingrays, both stings of which are treated with hot water. Further information can be found on the Beach Safety Hub website. Charlie finally takes a moment to relax in the sun. Or rather, a few too many moments. Wait, did they put sunscreen on? It looks like Charlie has a pretty bad burn. They're also confused and agitated, sweating, and rapidly breathing. Charlie actually has heat stroke and needs medical attention. Charlie's friend dials 000, soaks some towels in water, and pats them all over Charlie, vigorously fans them, and gives them water until the medics arrive. These are the signs and symptoms of heat stroke and what you can do if someone is showing them. Further information can be found on Australia First Aid. Charlie could have prevented this by avoiding hot sunny areas, wearing sunscreen and sun protective clothing, seeking shade, and drinking water. Australia is known for having strong UV rays, and sun protection must be worn and reapplied throughout the day. Make sure to slip, slop, slop, seek, and slide whenever in the outdoors, and download the SunSafe app for more information. Charlie had a pretty rough day, but Charlie could be any of you. In order to stay safe outdoors, here are the most important numbers and sources you should save in case you come across any of these hazards while outdoors. Disclaimer: if you have experienced any of these medical emergencies, it is not recommended you continue on as Charlie did. Charlie is strictly for demonstration purposes and was not harmed in the making of this video. Stay safe!